Welcome to this podcast. I'm Christina Petersen. I'm a Feldenkrais practitioner living in northern Germany, and I regularly talk with my colleagues. And today I'm very happy I have someone who lives in Japan, but actually she is a German person who lives there. And in this podcast, we will see how her lives ended up at the moment in Japan and where she will go maybe after this time. So, hello, Elisabeth. And we already know you are in Japan at the moment. And can you tell us something about you, where you are at the moment?
Well, I'm in Kyoto. I live here since 3 years, and I came as a following wife. Actually, my husband is working here. That's what led us here. Plus, our eldest son, he lives with his wife, with his Japanese wife, and his children in Tokyo. That's why we applied for Japan. So we are tied here, half by family ties also. Yeah. And yeah, but we are in Kyoto, which is 600 kilometers from Tokyo.
Yeah. So what I think it's so interesting to also show to the world how it is to change a lot the places in life. I think we can talk about two things: how this affects your working life as a Feldenkrais practitioner, and the other thing is what you experience as someone who is springing regularly from a culture to another culture. At the beginning, I'm interested in what is your first approach to the Feldenkrais method, or when have you heard about it the first time?
Funny enough, really early, I was about 17, 18. When I was 15, I started to learn the Balkan dances, the folk dances in Munich. I liked it very well. So my approach is from dance, let's say. Folk dancing, and the teacher I had there, the Hannelore Schick, someday she came and said, I did something, that's the latest hot shit what you can do. This is Feldenkrais method. This is so good. And I saw she changed somehow. Her teaching changed also after she had done that. She did not only the folk dances, she was teaching the Isadora Duncan method, which was a funny thing. Okay, but this is a very own topic of its own. It was kind of express yourself dance maybe or something like that. And so I thought, wow, seems to be very interesting. But okay, I was 17, 18. I had the impression it's also some very expensive thing. And okay, 17, 18. I was just not the time, but I knew about it from that time on, from that early time. Yeah.
So I assume that you had experiences in group lessons. There was a dance class, and also the teacher came and brought some Feldenkrais method stuff to you into a group.
Yeah, exactly. She brought it kind of into her Duncan teaching, and the way she was explaining the folk dances changed somehow. Suddenly the way she talked about how you turn details which I hadn't have talking about before popped up. So I realized that her thinking about movement had kind of changed, and that it must be really something very, very interesting what she did. And her own movements also. I mean, she was very fat. She was really a fat woman. Why is not important. But she was moving very lightly already due to the Duncan method. But when she added the Feldenkrais, this fat woman, like a ball, she could jump like really lightly. That was very amazing. Her way of presence and of moving around was just amazing. And yeah, and she introduced the Feldenkrais into her other lessons. She didn't teach Feldenkrais, pure Feldenkrais in the beginning. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
And
but that was my very start.
yeah, it sounds great, and also that you had the experience so young. I know today that when I was in the 9th grade, in class 9, I had a teacher who was in touch with the first persons who taught Feldenkrais here. She went to weekends and did some workshops, and she came back and she taught us in a very different way. I think she helped us to understand and to feel what it doesn't mean not to make your homework, but she gave us so many support. Maybe this is a podcast by itself to explain this more deeply. And I didn't know it, but I was, by the first contact with the Feldenkrais method, I was so attracted to it. And I remembered in this moment, oh, this is a thing how to teach. And I remember something in a different situation, which was similar, and I liked it so much. So I did my training, and you too. And as you and I know, as a Feldenkrais practitioner, you that there's something more. It's not only you can teach it in a group, but there's also the possibility with someone, person-to-person, hands-on work, and also a little bit with words. Depends on the situation. When was your first touch with this? Your first coming together?
That was later, quite many years later, when we were in Egypt. We had been there for a while already, and we discovered there was a Feldenkrais practitioner, Carol Ann Clouston. She was Canadian but living in Cairo, and she had classes, and she did the hands-on work. And it took me a while. I didn't start from the beginning, but as soon as I did, I had started to learn horseback riding, because I started it with my daughter, and every time I came into a new country, I had to invent myself new. And one new invention in that case in Egypt was horseback riding. Plus, when I got to know Carol Ann, and when I started the FI lessons, I had the chance. She lived even in our street, and the FI for us, it was very affordable. So
can you reveal what does it mean, FI?
Yes, I wanted to say it now.
Oh, okay.
That's why I have to combine the horseback riding and the FI, because every horseback ride lesson, after I had an FI at the same day or a previous day, it was so huge difference. The horse was reacting so differently on me. So really a huge difference how I could perceive the lesson, the horseback riding lesson, and how different the horse behaved onto what I did. That's why I had to. Sorry, that was a little bit of a long introduction.
No. Also, I know it from people who come to me and they have horses, and they say to me afterwards, it's a disbalance maybe from the horse, from the right side and the left side, and then they tried a long time to equalize it by their behavior. So as I know about riding, how they explained to me, and they said, okay, after the lesson I had with you in person, it was totally different, and the horse reacted so equally, and there's all the time a non-verbal communication between the skeleton of the person, the nervous system, and the skeleton and the horse, which is you maybe can better approach after an functional integration. So that's
that's just amazing. Yeah, and a horse, I mean, a horse, it's a non-verbal. The horse wouldn't talk and it wouldn't know that I had this kind of lesson before, but it would obviously feel it, and I would have more sense of myself and how to handle this, what they have in between in the mouth. The
maybe you can say the German word.
Transit.
Yeah.
Reins, the whole thing is the reins.
Okay. And was Egypt your first stop in a foreign country with your husband, or was it?
Egypt was the first country.
Okay. And how do you how was your life there? How changed your life? And maybe not only for this reason, for writing, you like the Feldenkrais method, maybe also because of the changing of the your surrounding.
The thing is, when you move out and when you change country, you are really thrown out of your middle of your own balance. And of course, for me, it would mean that I would not work. I would not be able to work. In Egypt, I had the children. The little one was 2, so I was a mother. But okay, I'm there. There's nobody. I don't know anyone. I have no colleagues. When you're going into a new country with children, then that's quick, because through the children and through the school you get to know. You are quickly in a community, and Egypt had a quite big expat community also. But Feldenkrais helped me really to find my center again. I was really happy to find that woman, Caroline, to really to learn to be myself and to be centered, because it's like a really throw off balance to leave the country and to start completely new, without work, without nothing, nothing to hold on, just your feet.
On the floor.
And where do I stand on?
Yeah, so you had to start from scratch somehow. Yes. Young woman with children. Also, this is a situation you start really new experiences then in another country, and good to know that you felt quite comfortable there. And what did the Feldenkrais work for you there? So we talk about balance and coming out of balance when you go to another country, another culture around you. But can you explain more explicit what changed after you were in touch with the Feldenkrais method?
I started to be able to express, to sense, my body, but also some feelings more precise. Something inside me got more precise in terms of how I perceive it. Not only the body, but also things which are more like, the whole inner life. It got more precise, and I was more able to name it, interesting enough. It's funny, because we are working on the body and on the body perception, but for me it had also the result that I was better able to express things which are not always which were body related also. It got more precise. I can't It's the only thing I can say. Yeah.
Yeah, but for me it sounds like you were there, and everything was maybe like overwhelming, so loud, the outside, not
Yeah.
in a metaphorical
Yeah.
thinking, and the inner, you couldn't hear so much your inner thing or express what was going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And,
I
yeah,
would say so.
and during the Feldenkrais lessons, you came back to yourself, the balance, and also you felt your middle. And
Yeah.
there you could start to express maybe what you are feeling again,
Yeah.
because it's not so overwhelming. There was a situation, you on your mat or on the bench with the person, and only you are in the center of attention. And
Yes.
the
Yes.
outside wasn't so important. And then you can go out and stay with yourself in contact, and you see maybe also the beauty of the new situation. And
Yeah.
the I think we all went through in our life the last years in such situations, that there was a pandemic and the political situation changed completely, and we have a new world. And you are and I think really that the Feldenkrais method can help to stay more with the own, that I call it it's so loud outside.
Yeah.
It's not going like a river and it's flowing and flowing. Now there are some things, waterfalls and breakups, and so, but we can stay more inside and feel and what is going on, and we can stay more in the situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
And after Egypt, you went to another country, to Bulgaria.
Yes. 10 years in between in Germany, but then came Bulgaria. Yeah. It was not immediately. Yeah. No, in Egypt we were like from 199 to 2000, 7 years, 2005.
And how was
And
it for you to come back to Germany, and also for your children?
actually the same shock, but in the other direction. It's not easier at all,
Yeah.
really. Yeah, the small one had to learn how to use the the traffic. I realized that he doesn't know how it works, because we wouldn't use that in Egypt, or it would work differently. So he had to learn many things. Yeah, and it's the same shock back. Of course, you have friends, you have a pool of friends and family. But actually, for me, the same situation again, being thrown into. I didn't want to leave Egypt. After 7 years, you are quite deep tied to the country. I would have stayed. So it was a big loss, actually. And then, yeah, I had to invent myself again what I'm doing now. But at that time, I was not involved with Feldenkrais for many years. So it was I knew it, of course. No, I tried to do the training when I came back from Egypt. That was the point. Yes, I tried to do the training, but I'm very hard hearing. I'm wearing hearing aids, and I realized I can't do it. The room was too noisy. At that time, those hearing aids were not so elaborate as they are now. And I was in Munich, Patrick Gruner training. Even I placed my head very close to the loudspeakers. I couldn't participate. It was very sad. I was really sad. I thought, because I thought, yes, that's the thing. I want to do it now. After those 1.5 years of every day FI with that woman. So very sad, but I thought, okay, I can't do it.
So it's
Yeah.
maybe who's thinking about a Feldenkrais training and has some issues like you. When I did my training at the end of the 90s, we also had someone in our group who was poor in hearing and wore some hearing aids, but for her worked it very well. But she had to sit really in front of each trainer. So we all knew it was her place in front of it, but I also know that the things you can have with hearing can be so different that maybe for her worked it very well, but not for you. And
at that time, I was not daring enough to, or not realizing. When I did my training, exactly, I did that. I was at the feet of Beatrice every day. Everyone knew this is my place, because later I did the training. But at that day, I was like, and I was hiding beside the loudspeaker. Yeah.
Oh, that's the reason. And she was, I think she was poor in hearing a long time before. And so she said, it's like this, I have to sit there. And sometimes there are some problems with it. So, okay. That's okay.
What I did later.
Yeah. And so after Germany, you went to Bulgaria. And
yes.
in this time you did your training? So
yes.
you traveled from Bulgaria to Bulgaria.
Yes, exactly. That was the time when I thought, okay, now children are out of house. The last one was 18 and he did his own thing and he really went there, just it's two of us. And I thought, I have to try again. I started to have really problems with my shoulder and I had some FI lessons with someone in Munich again, and she said, try it again, go to this training. She pointed me out. And then they said, yeah, you have hearing aids, we will manage. They were so like, they gave me the trust of it will work, and it did. Yeah. So and I thought, okay, now is the moment. And yeah, and then I was always in the middle and no problem at all.
Yeah. And sometimes it's looking very interesting and yeah, good, wonderful that you found a way to do your training and that you managed this kind of thing in your life. And my question now is, so you changed again to Bulgaria, as I understood, from Germany to Egypt, and from Egypt to Germany was also a big change for you. My question is, can you have you something established for yourself when you have to change again? So when you went to Bulgaria, was the change so big again for you?
No, it is that I started to know that the first year is always you just have to get through it. This is the experience I know now. So I was more calm. Plus, I had this super interesting training and I was moving a lot between these two countries. It was very tight connected suddenly. So again, the experience of being thrown out of my place, out of balance. But I made the experience, yes, I find a way, I find my way, which is really, Feldenkrais is I like to do it. It's my way of perceiving myself in the world and my way of bringing myself into my middle, let's say, or yeah. So yeah, it was a very dense connection and of lots of, it was easier to travel between Bulgaria and Munich is like super easy, 2 hours flight. Yeah. So
yeah, I think from Bulgaria, it's very good to know you can travel very easy back home and back. And but when you explained to us this, there comes picture in my mind. It's if you never have had the experience to eat lemon ice cream, then you don't know. We can talk about the lemon ice cream, but no one knows who will listen. What I want to say is maybe we have listeners who never did any kind of Feldenkrais but came across this podcast, and we are talking about other change and feeling better and this all. But I hope that they can catch something which is like a red thread between this, that Feldenkrais is something which helps you to not to adapt, but to go deeper into a process or different situations. And I think this is the theme of our time, to change. We have big changes to resolve, and it can be helpful to look for a method which brings you in a situation to deal with this in another kind than maybe being hard to the outside or feeling only overwhelmed, so that you can find your way and feeling your inside more clearly and to go through this time. Or what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
This is you said it very well. This is exactly what happened. I found a way to be more supple, not only in my body, but to be more supple to the situation which I'm thrown in suddenly. Yeah. And this is what we are working on, on the suppleness, not only on the body, but it translates into everyday life.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And from Bulgaria, you came back to Germany or directly to Japan?
Directly to Japan. This time we went straight from one country to the other.
And
yeah,
I imagine that is also a big change by how they write, how they talk, and the culture thing. What I know, I never have been there before, so but what I see is really amazing. So the culture and everything, the music and how they paint, everything is so beautiful, but I can't understand it. So the only thing I catch, it's very precise and with a lot of meaning.
A lot of
meaning. Well, for example, the music is for me as a musician really wow. I can catch the point that there is a meaning, a really deep meaning behind it. But it's so out of so the traditional Japanese music is so far away. Or once I had the possibility to see someone dancing a dance from Indonesia. So it's not Japan, it's very different, but it was also, he danced and he changed completely from a man in a suit, yes. And then he had this golden thing. And for me, as a European, it looked more like for girls. So, but that's my cultural connotation, I know. And he changed to a person, and he danced, and with little movements of the head, and suddenly the finger raised, and the music was for me like pling plong. But I say this not in disrespect. It was that I knew in this moment there happened something very special, and that he brought this to the women there. And everyone was we looked at it, and we knew it was so special, and really I liked it, but I didn't understand anything. What does it mean? But I catch the point. Wow, that's so amazing. And it caught me, really. And I think we'll have this all day long. You go out and I can't understand, but wow. Or maybe you can understand now better.
To come here is a shock for Europeans. If at the first moment you're quite shocked, you're completely overwhelmed when you arrive in Shibuya or somewhere in Tokyo. This is just too much of this. Everyone says it. To come to Japan is just too much of input, of strangeness, of even much worse than it ever was in Egypt. Huh? So you are like, where am I? So you need a lot of Feldenkrais lessons. So it's really, it's even double because it's so even more complicated. The Egyptian letters in the beginning also, I thought I will never learn it, but I learned to write and read Egyptian language, and to a certain extent I spoke the language, but here no. So this is really very, very special and very strange culture for us. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Plus,
us, for them, this may be the same when they come to Germany.
Yeah, but what I discovered here, I mean, I started soon to do Aikido, and this, of course, teaches. I learned to understand Feldenkrais even better.
Ah, that's
practicing Aikido. Yeah, I see the roots. Yeah, because as we know, martial Feldenkrais comes partially from martial arts, and it's amazing how much they know. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. And so we come back from talking about your life in general to your nowadays you are a Feldenkrais practitioner. So that's really, but I see how I build here my practice, and I'm lucky I'm here since I'm 3 in this area. So sometimes it happens that there shows someone up and says, yeah, this woman said to me, maybe I should go to you. It could be helpful. And I know I maybe met her 10 years before. So we had contact in a working situation or like this. And suddenly there shows someone up because I met someone 10 years ago. So I'm in a lucky situation with this, that but you changed a lot your place of living. But on the other hand, nowadays we have the good thing, like we can talk. You are in Kyoto, I'm here in northern Germany, and we can talk. How is your working life? Yeah, I think maybe you are not so much working with people surrounding your home, but maybe more with people from around the world. How's your do you work with the Feldenkrais method?
That's true. Funny enough, for me, the pandemic was a kind of good thing to happen, because now everyone started, we are all using Zoom, like now also. And it was a bliss, actually, because now I started to use Zoom, and my clients are not so much from Japan, but many from Bulgaria. Yeah, I activated the contacts I had already there. And yeah, Spain, someone is in Spain, and I can, yeah, this is Zoom, and I'm teaching more to the world. Yeah. Funny thing. Yeah. So
and I can say you are also in a group of Feldenkrais practitioners who meet nearly each day during the week. And I had the luck to have some lessons with you. And I can say it's never boring to have a lesson with Elisabeth. Always very, you like to investigate, and so nice and friendly with the people on the floor. So I feel always seen, and it's, I would describe your teaching very lively. And so I wish that you will have a lot of clients and new clients in the future. And how can people reach out to you?
through my website. They can, I have a website, feldework.com. Felde with E and E, not with Y, like Felde notebook, but Feldework, that's how I named it. I started to name myself feldenkraiskyoto.com, but after a while, some colleague from here said, that might be not so good, they might be upset. The colleagues, the Chinese colleagues might be upset, you might better change that. So I'm feldework.com. Anyone can look on my website and find me.
Yeah, and are you also active on social media?
Not yet, yeah. Well, I'm on Facebook, of course, yeah. Facebook and Instagram even, but less as a Feldenkrais practitioner. I'm just sometimes throwing photos, which from things I find interesting here.
These are all possibilities to contact you. It's not only that you throw some photos on it, or you can come in contact with you and write via Instagram or Messenger, and or the way of reaching out to your website. Also, we will put into the show notes your website and the email address. Yeah. And is there something you are working on, a future project, or what you will, a workshop or something?
Not right now. No.
Not right now. So
no.
I think that's completely good. So I had a time I gave a lot of workshops about a theme, but now I'm more like teaching during the week. And I like to work with my group, with them into a flow. So we have, and I look what is in the group, what is there, the theme or the balance, or maybe the neck. At the moment, we are working a lot in my group in the movability between head and chest. So that's more the focus, but it's not that I can point out this is about the workshops. So it's a weekly class. And together we find where the emphasis to look on. But as we work in the Feldenkrais method, of course, we are not only moving the shoulder and the head. It's the whole, which is interacting. So maybe that's also more how you work, the weekly class.
Yeah. I discover many times, to my surprise, that my students, how to say, somehow it seems to touch them very deeply. I don't know how I manage that, but the things I get as a replay is surprising me. What they say, of how they perceive it and what it does to them.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I gave just a Feldenkrais lesson, but okay, that's it. It happens. So yeah.
Nice.
It's as surprising. I'm always surprised by so many things in what it does to the students and what it does to me.
There's the connection between and the communication, and I see. And I also forgot, because I'm in this situation, okay, nowadays for single lessons, hands-on lessons, that people can come to me again. So I'm not in the need to give FIs so much via Zoom. But for you, you also work with this.
Yeah.
With one person.
I have private lessons on Zoom also, as well. Yeah. Which is a very interesting thing to do. I didn't know that it works so well. I think it's something between group lesson, is somehow in between. I would not say it's not hand-on, because my hands are not on, but it's much more detailed, or I'm a tailor, actually. I'm a learned tailor, and so it's much more manufactured to the body. It's funny that I can really tailor it on the person. So it's a tailored 80 group lesson. Sometimes I usually start with some we have group lessons which we can follow up. There are written things we got from Moshe Feldenkrais, and sometimes we can use that. And sometimes I start with this, but I see what the person is doing, and I start to tailor it. So
Nice.
it's interesting what we can do. We have we have 3 things to stand on now. Usually we had the functional integration and we had the group lessons, but now all of us practitioners, we have this 3rd thing, which is somehow in between, which is Zoom lessons, but with one person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very interesting thought, and that also the new situations are developing new possibilities. We can work, and which is maybe good for the people and different people. That they can reach out to your work even when you're in Japan, and they can have the very special situation with you alone. So I did a few single lessons, and really I had to say, I don't know, maybe I'm meant as very open for such things, but I was a little bit, how will it work? And the single lesson, but I can say it's very interesting, the tailor thing with the person, the direct contact, and there, and I am away from using my hands. When I'm with the person in the room, I'm so okay, I do this, and then it's clear. So I'm so used to this kind of talking and exchange of experiences, but there I was suddenly, okay, how can I do this? And it is a lot of fun. Not that this thinking, it's not deep work, but yeah, it was a new situation. And you are in the possibility to do this all the time.
Yeah. So exactly, I had this. It was challenging, but I took the challenge, and I find it very interesting to work like this. Yeah.
So I think this is a very round communication until now, but I will give you the possibility to now to talk about something I might not ask you. Yeah, is there something inside you want to say to the world now? Now is your possibility, or maybe, Christina, can you ask me this? Can we talk about this?
No. It's, you know what? This is funny. It's really, this is again a Feldenkrais moment, because it makes me realize how much I'm more born for as a follower. We both share the love for Tango Argentino, and I know that I love dancing Tango Argentino because I just can follow. And when I give a Feldenkrais lesson, I also can just follow what the persons are doing. Okay, in the group lessons, I have to lead somehow. But yeah. I'm more a person following up. So this is also my problem, why I'm not very much reaching out into marketing my Feldenkrais. I know this is something I should do, or maybe not. Why?
Podcast, and everyone will find a way. I can say to go outside, do something to be open for this happening. But you are already working, and it will grow. I'm not doubting this, and it's interesting about this quality to be able to follow someone, but also it's, I know to say with the tango, it's something, if you only follow what the leader are giving you in the dance, you also give back some reaction. Yeah. And so there's the communication. Okay, there's someone who is more deciding, we do this, but in the best situation, is it that the person who leads also feels or knows how to show? And I also went out and had some experience. Okay, he is a very good leader, but there was no communication in between us. And with some people, it's like you dance, it's like a communication. Okay, it's okay, I follow, you lead, but yeah.
But actually it's just something between.
Like pushing me into this and showing me, it's really a communication. Do you like to go there? Oh no, maybe. This, and I can wait some. I have time to show my leg or not. Yes, and that's the point where we manage, and I think that's something we do also more on the FI with the hands-on, or with one person to the other person via Zoom, that there is a situation where we have someone who leads and someone who follows, but the air between is very thin.
Yes,
exactly. Yes, and there is a moment where this maybe blurs. It's not very clear, and then there comes the happiness when I dance tango or when I have an FI with someone, or in which situation ever, the leading position or more the following position. If this isn't clear anymore, but in a good meaning, yes, then it's wow. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is what we have in a hands-on in the Feldenkrais lessons as well. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, something new. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So, Elisabeth, as every time, it was a pleasure to be in contact with you. And yeah, now I have to say goodbye. And you, thank you for the talk, and that you committed your time to this project of the podcast. And there's something also, the marketing part with me isn't so big. It's not so much about the marketing. Who heard this podcast to this very end and thinks, oh, I'm a Feldenkrais practitioner, I also want to be on this podcast, please contact me. We talk, we look for date. And the other thing also, if you had a lot of experiences with the Feldenkrais method, and also you want to share this in this podcast, this is also possible. So you have the possibility to contact me via konmotopetersen.de, and there are plenty possibilities out to reach out via Facebook or also Instagram and SoundCloud. So please contact me and we will find a date to talk. Thank you, Elisabeth, for listening this, and we will hear from each other during the next time.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.